What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Uncut Convos, where shit get real, tea gets spilled, and it might end in tears. You just never know. So today the topic at hand will be black man mental health. It's several reasons why I felt like this topic needed to be discussed. My own personal reasons is because obviously I'm a black man and I know the traumas that it comes with being a black man. And secondly, I mean, this is not obvious to the general public, but I also struggle with mental health issues as well. I have for the last 2 years. And a lot of people don't know this, like only my close friends, like my closest cousins, and that's about it. Like my parents don't know, only one of my siblings know. But since December of last year, 2023, I've been on medication for depression. And I didn't really feel the need to tell nobody because black men feelings get so swept under the rug. Like whether they're gay, whether they're straight, whether they from the suburbs, whether they from the hood, whether they from Chicago, Houston, Connecticut, who gives a fuck, right? I feel like when it comes to black ethnicity, we are the only race that sweep men feelings under the rug. Any other race, Caucasian, Asian, Hispanic, the men in their culture, feelings get validated just as much as women in their culture, feelings are validated, if not more. I will say that. So, I did a poll on Facebook, and I asked mostly females, what is something about this topic you would like me to tackle, or questions you want me to answer, or, they also made comments that I'm going to address as well. And a lot of the topics really did hit home. And so I'm going to read through them, and then I'm just going to give out my personal experience with each of these topics. So, yeah. So the very first question, or comment I should rather say, came from one of my very close friends. And she wanted me to speak on the topic of men not being able to speak how they feel without being called bitches, sis, or sus. And I absolutely hate this for black men. Particularly, I hate this for black straight men, I will say. Because with me being, gay, I got a little more leverage to express myself and be dramatic or sassy, as y'all love to label, black straight men when it comes to them conveying their feelings. This is something that I really hate. And I don't use the word hate, but this is something I really hate when it comes to black women. A man could express something so small as in, like, I remember seeing somebody say something about, I go above and beyond for my girl on Valentine's Day. And on Sweetest Day, she don't do anything for me. And baby, did his comments flood. They was like, oh, you too emotional. You can't be a man and run off emotions. Why not when we all are emotional beings? Like, every being that exists in this space and time are emotional beings. Everything thrives off emotions. Men, women, babies, motherfucking animals, like literally dogs, cats, any fucking animal you could think of, they really work off emotion as well. And this is with any living thing, right? There's literally a study where you can take two plants and give them the same amount of water every day for 30 days. And one plant you speak negative things to for 30 days, and the other you speak positive things to for 30 days. Imagine, both the same plants getting the same amount of water. The one that you speak negative with will die, and the one that you speak positive to will thrive. Because this whole life system runs off energy. Energy cannot be created and it cannot be destroyed, but it can be diminished, right? And I feel like that's what happened with a lot of black men. When it's time for them to convey their feelings, they get told, you too emotional. You act like a bitch. You too soft. And this begins from when we are little boys. Everybody around us do it. As soon as we pass the age of about 2 or 3, everybody do it to us. If you cry too much, stop crying like a little girl. If you want to express yourself by doing something, boys don't do that. If you convey your feelings too much, you act like a little girl. So from the very beginning, we start to tear black boys down and let them know that their feelings are not valid. From the very fucking beginning. From the very beginning. And it's so fucking crazy. And I know this from personal experience, because I was an emotional kid. I'm an emotional person still to this fucking day. But even my cousins because obviously I'm from the motherfucking hood, I'm from the project. Even my cousins that was tough as fucking nails and that was like badass kids, even like when they cry, they could be not emotional at all and be bad kids for 20 days out of the month, right? But the 5 days where they decide they want to cry or, let their feelings out, they get told, your ass being soft. You acting like a bitch. You act like a little girl. All this stupid ass shit. So then, men from that age tend to bottle their feelings up. From then. So imagine bottling shit up from the time you are 3 all the way to the day you die. So, I just feel like, God forbid a man tell his family that he's going through depression or anxiety and things like that. Or he get on the internet and cry and to express himself and say that he's going through this, like he's mentally fucked up, he got this and that going on. And then he turns into a fucking meme. He turns into a joke. We make fun of him. We pick apart all the lines that he said, like, what more do you want from me? Let's talk about Tyrese. Yeah, let's talk about Tyrese the singer. Somebody that we have loved and adored and gave us hits for the last 20 years, who has done nothing but great things for the black community and black men and black music, and he was dealing with real mental health issues, got on the internet and cried to people that he think is his community because he gave nothing but love and good music to us for the last 20 years. And we laughed at him. We made jokes about him, we made memes about him, and we found them more entertaining than tragic. And that is a prime example of why black men don't express themselves. Because when they do, it turns into a fucking joke. Kanye West is another example. He can go on rants about, how, these people are conspiring against him and how his ex-wife is keeping his children from around him. And all we gotta say is, Kanye is crazy, crazy, crazy. Please, somebody tell me, what has Kanye did that displayed that he is crazy? He ain't harmed nobody. He ain't hurt no kids. He ain't sexually assault no kids. He didn't, we don't see him using drugs or alcohol. We don't even know if Kanye drink or even smoke a little blunt from here and there. We don't know none of these things, but every time this man comes out and say that somebody is conspiring against him, somebody is invalidating his feelings, somebody is treating him like a psycho, we be like, that nigga Kanye, his ass crazy. Where's the evidence that he's crazy? Because we all got a family member just like Kanye that talk and say anything out their ass when they feel like it. But Kanye is crazy. But Tyrese is funny because he's crying on the internet. And then y'all ask, why don't black men express themselves? That's probably why. So because of that, that's why black men bottle everything up. Because from the time that they are a boy and they are able to express their feelings, they basically are told that your feelings are invalid and for you to be emotional is not a good thing. our mothers say it to us, our daddies say it to us, and then when our people around us hear our parents say it to us, our uncles say it to us, our aunties say it to us. Because I know all of those have said it to me. Your siblings start to say it because they hear the grown-ups say it. So when you cry in front of somebody that's your age when you a kid, if I was to cry in front of my sister when I was a kid, why you crying like a girl? You such and such. Because y'all have placed that on us, and now y'all send all these grown-ass men out into the world, into relationships, raising kids, raising babies, and then y'all trying to figure out why he not emotionally attached to my relationship. Why is he not emotionally attached to our children? Oh, because y'all told him fuck his feelings from the very beginning. Yeah, and now all of a sudden y'all think he's gonna grow up and miraculously know how to deal with his feelings and how to convey them and how to be emotional and empathetic in a relationship and how he should bond with his kids. No, he's been trained and wired and built to not feel these things. And now he's just supposed to have it one day? That's not how it works, baby. Next question is, why do I think so many black men are deadbeats? This question is so complex and the answer is more complex. When it comes to a lot of situations, I feel like a lot of girls lay down and have babies with men that they clearly saw the red flags and know that this person is not capable of having children. These are the same men y'all lay down with and they don't even know how to wash their ass correctly. You have to baby them and spoon-fed them through a lot of things. Whether it's how to get a job, how to get their state ID, how to get their birth certificate, how to fill out job applications. Y'all will be with a man and have to coach him through all these things, right? While y'all in a relationship with him. Be his motherfucking whole brain, and then you would get pregnant by him, and then have a baby by him, and then try to figure out why can't he be a good dad. Maybe it's because he don't even know how to care for himself. That could be one of the reasons, right? Another reason I feel like it's so many deadbeat dads is because a lot of women have babies with men that let them know when it happens that they don't want kids. I'm literally watching a situation like that right now amongst an associate. They pregnant and, the guy clearly is telling them that, he has several kids already and he don't want to have that baby. And then a woman will still be like, well, this is my baby. I'm going to have my baby anyways. And then, you want to shun the dad for not being around when basically he already told you he's not going to be around. So that's another reason why it's so many deadbeats. And another reason they are deadbeats is because some men are simply just bitches and they trash as fuck and they don't really have the empathy to think about what it's like to grow up without a dad. It be people that grew up with their dad and still grow up to be deadbeats because you can't expect for everybody to have the same heart as you. So a lot of men just simply don't care, honestly. And a lot of black men don't even know how to deal with themselves, how to deal with their own emotions, and how to deal with raising themselves up as a man. So how am I going to raise up a child? How am I going to give love and attention and affection to a child when I can't even do it for myself? I can't even let people know when I feel like crying, but you want me to take care of a whole nother human being. I feel like it's a lot of deadbeat men because a lot of babies are born into unrealistic situations. Whether it's one-night stands, people that y'all just casually fucking, somebody that was clearly a terrible person in a relationship and, couldn't do for you or themselves. But women still tend to have babies with these men. And a lot of baby daddy, baby mama relationships, I feel like, was contingent on sex. So once you stop fucking that man, he stopped fucking with the child. But trust me, the signs was always there what type of dad he would have been. So, I will say the mom and the dad is to blame for why there are deadbeat men. And, you know, don't take my word for that because I can speak on all these other things. I don't have any children, and my dad was phenomenal. So, yeah. This one, I'm just touching on my opinion, but everything else, I feel like it's facts. This question came from someone I went to high school with, and it gotta be by far my favorite question, and it's the reason why it's number 2. And the only reason why I did number 1 before this because it's a trickle effect into everything else. She said, talk about PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, as black men living in Chicago. Let's just talk about black men being from Chicago in general, though. Obviously, I say all the time that I'm from the projects. You know, I love it. You know, it made me who I am. So I'm really proud to say I'm from the projects. West Side Village Crazy, you know. But the same place that built me up as a person also tore me down as a person, right? And that's my projects that I'm from, and also Chicago in general. And I can remember very vaguely when my post-traumatic stress started. And I was a damn near baby. I had to be about 6 or 7. I would never forget the 2 events that took place in my life. From then on, death became a very prevalent thing in my life, right? So I don't know which one of these situations happened first, but my mom had a boyfriend, right? His name was Eli. One of my favorite people ever, like, right? So he was a great guy, a phenomenal guy actually. And a lot of people that my mom dated when I was a kid, I feel like they only fucked with us because they really wanted to fuck with her. But he was one of them people where he might have fucked with me and my sister more than he fucked with my mom. I'm just saying. And this was somebody that I seen every day. Gave us anything we want, put money in our pockets every day for no reason at all, besides the fact that he saw us. Brought snacks every day, whether my mom wanted him to or not. This is somebody I saw every day. Now imagine, you know, your family partying, doing the things that they do damn near every night or weekend, whatever it was, and, you know, you hear shots outside, right? And then anytime commotion went on, me and my sister always went to our bathroom window because our bathroom window pretty much oversaw most of the projects. We saw all the rest of the row houses because there was only like one other row house behind us, and we saw all the buildings. So everything in front of our house was everything, right? And imagine looking out there and it's being an uproar, people running, people screaming, and all this stuff. But you just thinking it's just another, you know, fight like it always is. And then, you know, the next morning I wake up and, you know, I'm just casually walking down the stairs. I remember exactly what I had on. I had on my Pikachu house shoes and whatever else, I don't know. But I know I had them house shoes on, right? And usually my house is very chaotic in the morning, right? But this morning it was very silent. But it was still full of people, right? So I'm just casually walking down the stairs, and then my auntie Leary is coming up the stairs, and she stopped me and she said, "You okay?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. Like, you know, she like, "You sure you okay?" And I'm just like, yeah, you know, not thinking nothing of it, being an innocent child. And she just casually said, well, when I say casually, it wasn't like unempathetic because my auntie a great person. But this is how I remember. She just casually said, "Oh, Eli got killed last night. Did they tell you?" And in the projects, it's so normal for people to get killed or people to die that adults are really not privy to how to have the, you know, the death talk with kids. I feel like now we are more, you know, prone to tell the kids like, "Oh, they had to go to heaven, this is that. But growing up, when people die, like as kids, you really get told like, "Oh, he got killed. Oh, she died," you know, stuff like that. And yeah. So, and not only that, but another situation that really like effed me up from the beginning. My aunties had 3 friends, right? They was twin brothers and another brother. Their name was Rava and Spunky. I would never forget them. My auntie Blackie, she went with one of the guys, and then the other 2 guys was twin brothers. I'm not sure if my family dated them or not, but they was in my house every day when I was a kid. And at that point, they was only teenagers, if I'm not mistaken, probably like 16 at the most. And these are people that I saw every day. And one night, all three of these brothers got killed. Like, within the same hour, all together, all three of these brothers that I saw every day playing in my house, being goofy clowns, like, really good people, they're now dead, all three of them. All got killed together, right? A triple homicide, 3 people funeral. And I will never forget it being in the newspaper, the pictures of their caskets, all three of them like being together. And I can never really convey what them 2 moments in my life did to me as a kid. Like, not only did I stop seeing all these people, but they was all killed, and it was like a casual talk. Like, and for some reason, when things happen and you a kid, I feel like adults don't really pay attention to what the kid feel, right? Because it also happened to the adults as well, and they're closer in age with the people, and they probably knew more about these people. But I feel like as an adult, I am so much more aware of kids' trauma because their innocence could be so easily robbed from them because mine was. Eric, my guy, he has only been to 2 funerals in his whole life, and he's 25. I will sing praises if that was the amount of funerals I've been to by the age of 25. 26, basically. But instead, I have been to like probably 15 to 20 plus funerals. And that is not being dramatic. I really have a list that I can read off, and I will read off, of how many people I know that's either got killed or how many people funerals I've been to. And it's very unhinged, and it's very disturbing. And when it comes to PTSD amongst black men, I feel like so many things is to blame, right? So one, we grow up not being able to convey our feelings and have to bottle everything up, right? And then we grow up somewhere where killing is so motherfucking normal. Like, it's kind of crazy how normal people getting killed is when we growing up in Chicago. And like, I feel like when I was in high school, every day I used to walk to school, I used to be thinking like, I hope I make it to school. Like, I hope I don't get killed for like on my way to school. And the same coming from school. When I tell you, it's so many days. My auntie was living on 61st in Indiana, and I feel like every day I left her house to walk to the train or the bus stop, right, was the day I knew that I can get killed. Not because I did anything to somebody, not because, I'm out here, in the streets heavy, simply because innocent people getting killed. My family is who my family is, and my family have done things. And like, imagine every day when you go outside living in Chicago, you be like, I hope I make it back home. That's a battle within itself. To hope that you make it home every day you walk out the house, and especially when you know you ain't did shit to nobody, probably knock a couple niggas out, because that's all I've ever done. But yeah, like every day you walk out of the house, you have to contemplate, is this your death day? But let's be real, like you can't stay in the house and live all your days in the house. Like you gotta go to school, you gotta go to work, you gotta walk to the store to get you a pack of blunts. All of this could result into you dying. You gotta go check the mailbox. You could die. Like you could get killed. Like Chicago is such an unreal place. And like I can't express it enough how death is so prone in Chicago. Like motherfuckers really get whacked every day, and so many people that I grew up with, knowing and seeing, didn't got killed. Like I literally have a list, and this list is of 15 people, right? And this is not 15 funerals, because if I add how many funerals I've been to with this, it will be about a list of 30 people, right? This is just people I knew, like that I grew up with or grew up around that got killed, right? So we have Mark, a friend from elementary school. Nene, a friend from elementary school. BJ, a very close friend of mine, my best friend Gina, brother, who's also my brother, my cousin Steven, my cousin Kenny, my cousin Darrow, Ace, one of my friends, my best friend DeAndre, my little cousin Duke, this girl I used to go with, her name is Imani. One of my close friends, Tatiana mom, got killed last year just being outside enjoying herself. Mama Bird, Kim K, like somebody that I loved and adored. She was older than me, but from our projects, a woman got killed, took away from her baby. Lente, one of my cousins, my cousin Buki, who I just watched get killed in April. Another friend from where I used to live at out south named Brian. Like, this is 15 people that I know done got killed, and that was just the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure I know way more people that done got killed, but those are 15 people I know that they got killed. 15. And mind you, I told you my guy Eric, he's only experienced 2 deaths in his whole life, but that is 15 of people that I know that got killed. That's minus people that had died from natural causes and other people's funeral I had to go to. And why do black men have PTSD, you may ask? Not to mention that, also I had a situation where I was very young, where I had to be about, 8, where it was like an entire shootout inside my house. Not outside my house, not around my house, but inside my house. Like, it was a whole shootout inside my house. Like, that's the only way I could describe it. Like, imagine, peacefully sleeping, right? And then shots ring out inside your house, and you wake up, and because you're a child, and, you just thinking you had a loud dream or something like that, you get up and you begin to walk out of your room door, and my mom had to take me and sling me into the closet because I was literally about to walk out into gunfire. So that was another example of, PTSD, very young on. And then, it was another situation that I remember where, I don't even talk to people about this situation, but it used to be this place by a house called Pete the Greek, and me and my favorite cousin Jenna, we used to walk there every day to get cheese fries, right? And I remember this was a fall day, it was kind of cold outside, and I was walking to get my own cheese fry for my $1.10 by myself, and a man that I knew, I would never forget his name because he's still around, a man that I knew ran up on another man that I knew and started shooting at him, right? And imagine there's nobody outside but damn near just us 3. Me, the man I know, and him shooting at another man I know, right? So I run closer to the restaurant and get right there. Another man that I know is sitting in the car, right? A close family friend. And he tells me, get in the car, because I'm crying, telling him, they shooting. He tells me to get in the car, right? When I get in the car, the man that was just shooting at the other man runs and get in the car with us. So I guess he was right there waiting on him to come back from shooting the other man. And then, he came, got in the car, and instead of taking me home because it just happened on the side of my house, they took me to the other side of the projects where my auntie Dorothy lived and dropped me off there. And then I remember telling one of my aunties, my auntie Red, when they was talking about yeah, I know what it is and whatever. And then she was like, yeah, don't tell nobody else that. Yeah. So PTSD like a motherfucker over here. It ain't funny, but it's the truth. And you don't really realize how much those situations that happen to you as a kid affect you as an adult. Now, reverting back to the situation where there was a shootout in my house, for some reason the sounds of how it was going, it always replay in my dreams of what happened. I could have a dream where the dream is blank, but I could be rehearing what happened that night, right? So last year, me and Eric at home, this when we lived back in Illinois in the cab, my cat was in the windowsill, middle of the night, and we had a bunch of globes and glass in the windows that we got from visiting Atlanta or Miami or something like that. And the snow globes started to hit the floor, right? And they bust back to back, right? And for some reason, I thought it was shooting going on in my house. Why would I think that? I don't know, but I know why. That's why the situation that happened to me as a kid is why. But I automatically thought somebody was shooting inside my house as a grown man. And I jump up, grab my gun, and I'm screaming and hollering. And I'm screaming, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? And I'm just screaming this over and over and over with a gun in my hand because I heard like glass breaking and what sounded like gunshots to me. And, once we figured out what it was or whatever, Eric was like, okay, like, you good? I'm like, yeah, he was able to go to sleep. But me, my adrenaline was so high and I was so disturbed that I had that moment that I didn't sleep until the sun came up. Like, that shit was so traumatic for me. And at first I couldn't begin to understand why that happened. Until later down the line, I realized it tied me to more childhood trauma, PTSD, of growing up in Chicago in the hood and being a black boy. Yup. Yeah. So PTSD for black men in Chicago starts very young, and I'm going to elaborate on it more, but it intertwines with the next question, so I'm going to move on to the next question. This one was an anonymous DM, and I love this question as well. It says, I want to DM you my topic, but I know you, your brothers, cousins, etc. deal with this because this person know my family personally. How black men deal with losing a close friend / brother and still try to deal with life by hiding the pain. Because men are supposed to be strong, show no weakness, and a lot of men cry in private. I cannot begin express first of all, how great this question is and how valid this question is, right? When it comes to being a black man and losing a very close friend, it's a fucked up feeling, I will say, because in your lifetime you are expected to lose your grandparents, you're expected to lose your parents even. You're expected, if you got a lot of cousins, you're expected to lose your cousins, some of your cousins, right? But when it comes to like somebody that's your friend and that's your best friend, and y'all supposed to grow old together per se, it fucks you up in a way that it makes you question your own mortality, right? I would never forget when my best friend DeAndre got killed in 2018. This is one of my favorite people ever. Like, we was best friends from first grade all the way up, and we chose completely different life paths and things like that. He was a street guy, I'm not. I don't have to be. My family come from that, but no matter where life took us separately, he always treated me like the boy that he met in first grade. And when I lost him, like I don't think people really understood like how it affected me, because as a black man, you really feel like you only get one or two good male friends in a whole lifetime, right? And it's so fucked up. You can have plenty of buddies, right? And you fuck with all of them, but it's only one or two that you have in your life that you feel like, this man right here, this is my brother. We are conjoined by the heart, and nobody understands me the way my brother understands me, right? So when that person is taken, it makes you, it kind of make you feel like, first of all, fuck friendships, because anybody that you can meet as an adult will never be able to understand you to the capacity that person did, because they grew up with you. They knew you from a child to a teenager to a man, and nobody can ever like fill that time gap with you. So it makes you feel hopeless. And again, like, black men could already barely express their feelings, and sometimes when you have a very close male friend, y'all two is the only people that can convey y'all feelings to each other without, feeling like, oh, you being soft, or, don't nobody want to hear that shit, as a lot of black men do to each other. But we all got that one or two friends, and DeAndre was my best friend in the way where he was super street and known to a savage by everybody else. But the conversations I had with him, like, I didn't see that person that everybody else saw, because with me, he was able to tell me how he fucked up mentally, shit that he did that he shouldn't have done, and like, you know, how it affected him, and you know, other people will high five him for doing certain things, but they don't see where it really fucked him up as a person in the head and in the soul and as a person up, right? And so this person, they was telling me that, you know, their guy had lost somebody super close to them. And all you can do is try to be there for them. And I feel like if you can, ask them to tell you stories about that person, because I know that helped me to talk about stuff that me and DeAndre has did when we was kids, or when we was in high school, people we used to beat up and stupid shit like that. But besides that, you would never really be able to help this person, because the void that has now been taken away, it can never be filled again. And yeah, a lot of guys in Chicago deal with this. And, you know, I can't really express how to help somebody get through this, because it's 6 or 7 years later for me, and I'm still trying to figure it out. And I've had plenty of friends get killed, and that's not a flex, it's a terrible thing. But that one friend getting killed cannot begin to, you know, I can't begin to say how it messed me up as a person. Especially, you know, for me as a black gay boy, we ain't really got that many good straight friends. Like, you know, some gay boys ain't got none, shit. So mine, he was the best. And all I can say to you is, make sure you let your boyfriend know that it is okay for him to cry about losing his best friend, his brother. Like, let him know, like, cry whenever you need to cry. I tell people this all the time. If you stand in the kitchen, you feel like crying, motherfucker, cry. If you in the shower and you feel like crying, cry, nigga. Like, if we in the car and you feel like you need to pull over to cry, cry. Like, and I'm gonna help. I'm gonna coach you through it. I'm gonna rub your back. I'm gonna tell you it's okay. But whatever you feel the need to do to get this out, please do it, because holding it in it's a bitch, and you gotta let it out. That's the only way. That's the only thing that's gonna help him, is to let him get it out every chance he can. When birthdays come, you make sure you go with them to their gravesite, or, you know, do something to help them, you know, remember them and shit like that. But crying it out is the only real way. And, you know, black men don't really get to cry, so they never get to really deal with the loss in this capacity. So make sure he know it's okay to cry. Next question. Talk about how some men are afraid to open up about mental health issues because they think they'll be seen as weak. Not they think they'll be seen as weak, they will be seen as weak. Even me, who has more leverage to be emotional and, you know, whatever the case may be, because, you know, I'm not straight, you know, I get to convey my feelings a little bit more. And I still feel like people judge me when I tell them, like, oh, I'm having anxiety, oh, I'm having depression, oh, I'm not having a good day. It's like, I remember telling somebody, right? I remember telling somebody that's in my immediate family, yeah, I think like I'm experiencing this depression. And this was their reply. Why? That's your reply to somebody telling you that they feel like they depressed, or like they got some mental issues going on. You ask, why? Now imagine this is somebody that knows me better than anybody, or they should. So imagine, and within that time frame, I had lost, and this in the last 2 years. Within a year, my nephew passed away, my step-grandmother passed away, which was my last living grandmother, my granddad passed away, and then turned around, my favorite person, my auntie, passed away, and then a couple months after that, my uncle passed away. Both of these are my dad's siblings, right? So my dad lost his older brother and older sister to illnesses months apart, right? Or less than a year apart, whatever the case may be. And then in April, the month before I moved to Houston, I was on the same block with my cousin when he got killed, ran to him and watched him take his last breath, right? So all of this has happened, and then I got up and moved away from my dad while he was experiencing the loss of one of his parents and two of his siblings, and my dad is my best friend. And then I had to get up and move 1,600 miles away from him, right? And I told this person I was experiencing depression, and they said, why? Or whatever the fuck they said, but I remember they made that face. And it's almost like black men are so scared to open up because they don't want to seem like bitches. We gotta be tough. We gotta be on point and hard at all times. And the moment we almost try to let our guard down to let somebody know how we feeling, we get the stank face, or we get, why you feeling like that, or but and there's nothing wrong with asking people why you feeling like that. It's about how you say it. So at two different instances where I told this person about depression. One of the time I told them, and the other time they seen me post it on social media. And, all they had to say was, oh, it's going to be okay. Basically, like, how do you know it's going to be okay for me? Like, ask me what I'm struggling with to make me feel like the way I'm feeling. You cannot tell me it's going to be okay because you are not living my life. You don't walk in my shoes. I don't care how much you're around me, how much you think you know me. It is never your place to tell another man or another person in general that it's going to be okay. Let's keep that in mind. And there's nothing wrong with asking people why they feel that way, but don't be why you feel like that. You need to sincerely be asking this person, what's going on that makes you feel like that? Like, is you okay in your head? Like, woo. And a lot of black men just don't have the leverage. And this following question, I want to tie into it because talk about how some men have been sexually assaulted and mentally messed up, and they don't know what happened to them with sexual assault. So let's get into black men being sexually assaulted, because this ties in to mental issues as well, and also this ties into so many things. Black men with depression, black men with anxiety, black men with mental health issues, black men with high sexual urges, right? So let's get into this. I feel like when it comes to black men being sexually assaulted as a kid, it's unheard of, right? But it happens to so many black men. But it's unheard of. Even to this day, I hear parents say stuff like, oh, my daughter can't spend the night over there because it's men over there. It's wrong, woo over there. Like, boys don't get touched too, okay? And I know a nice amount of black men that have been touched as boys, whether they're gay or straight. And I feel like the topic is not really talked about. The same way y'all don't let y'all daughter spend the night anywhere, y'all should be letting y'all son spend the night anywhere either. Because boys get touched too by men and also by women, grown women. I remember one of my friends telling me how, one of his older cousins used to have sex with him from the time he was like 8 years old or 9, and it was because like, some black men when they're young they be packing real early. And he was one of those, and he said that his cousin was probably like 16, 17, and was freaking him, and I know plenty of gay boys that have been touched growing up, and, they feel like maybe that's the reason why they gay, or, black men, they get touched as kids, and then they grow up, and, if it's by a woman, they get touched when they're young, then they feel like, oh, I'm so experienced, like, I can fuck hoes as much as I want, like, sex become nothing to them. So they do it meaninglessly because it was robbed from them when they was a kid. So now they just feel like they dick is not really. It's not really a prized possession. It's something that I'm using to get what I want, because when somebody wanted what they want, they got that same exact thing from me without me even offering it up to them, right? Such a heavy topic. But, and then, when it comes to boys that have been touched by men, when it comes to being a little black boy and being touched by a man, thank God I have never been sexually assaulted, raped or nothing like that. A nigga just gay because it happened. But a lot of boys do grow up and choose being gay because they was assaulted, and they can't really comprehend that they can like the other because of what happened to them so young. And sometimes, because they may have enjoyed a moment or two when it happened to them, they think, oh, I must have liked it that. Oh, I must enjoy that. I must show them something to make them think like it was okay to do this to me. So then boys grow up and they don't really know their sexuality, right? So this is where a lot of men, and this ties into another topic of why is there so many down low men out here. Because it's so many down low men because a lot of them have been assaulted by men in their family or family friends, and then they grow up, not sure if, they just like to fuck with boys because, they are actually gay or bisexual, or because they only like it because it happened to them when they was young, right? So if I know I like pussy and I want to fuck bitches all the time, but every now and then I want to be with a man, why do I feel the need to come out? So instead of me coming out and telling y'all I like women and men, no, I'm gonna just do my twist on the side when I feel like it, and I want to continue to fuck with bitches, right? So I feel like that's what a lot of down low men come into, and also a lot of down low men come into play because I don't even think y'all understand what it's like to come out as a gay boy, right? Like, it ties to so much trauma and so much fucked up things, and let me pause. It's hard enough to come out as being a gay boy in general, right? But to be from the hood, to be black, from the gutter, and then to convey that you gay as well, oh, it's a whole nother motherfucking ball game. And it's always women that ask, like, why is there so many down low boys? But them be the same females that when they're in a relationship with a nigga, if he want to hang out with his friend, yo gay ass, right? If a man, is too emotional in his relationship, yo gay ass. If a man is a little sassy because maybe he raised by all women, or because he can't help the way he talk or the way he walk, his ass gay. Everything that a man do growing up, if it's not like macho manly, yo ass gay. And that's not funny, but I'm just like channeling somebody when I say that, so that's why I laugh. So if you shame me for the way I talk and you calling me gay and I'm straight, if you call me gay for the way I walk, the way I talk, if I wanna eat this, if I wanna drink a caramel frappe, I remember seeing a girl saying a man ain't got no business drinking a caramel frappe. Bitch, a nigga can't drink some coffee with some caramel drizzle in it? That's insane. So if you calling me gay for doing all these things that have nothing to do with sexuality, why would I come out and let you know that I actually fuck with men? I feel like it's way more harm in men coming out than it is help in it. Y'all be saying like, oh, we'll support you no matter what. We love you anyways, and woo, woo, woo. But y'all be the same ones that are still slender a nigga once he come out. The first opportunity somebody get, you know, a person will come out. I've had this personally happen to me, like when I came out or whatever. People will be like, you know, I love you and I support you no matter what. And then I get into it with them same family members, and the first thing they say is, yo gay ass, you going to hell, woo, 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 like all this, you know, shit like that. So, yeah, I see why it's a lot of down low men out here. And I feel like the same reason why down low men don't come out the closet is the same reason I came out the closet. And let me tell you why. So this is conveyed into two different ways. Like I said, that's the reason why black men don't come out the closet and they just rather stay down low, because all the stigmas that comes with how you're gonna be judged for being gay when you come out, right? And it's the same reason why I came out as gay, because I don't want to deal with all the stigmas that it take being a straight man, right? So they don't want to deal with everything that comes with being gay or being called gay, and I didn't want to deal with everything that ties into having to be a straight man. I could have easily lived the down low lifestyle if I wanted to. I didn't fuck with guys till I was 19. I started having sex at 14 and didn't have sex with a guy till I was 19, right? So if I wanted to, I could have easily lived the same lifestyle as them and been down low and put on a more masculine front, but I chose not to, right? And a lot of them, a lot of y'all brothers and cousins and baby daddies be standing on the block selling drugs, toting guns. They, at the end of the day, they wanna fuck with somebody like me, you know? But that's our topic. That's another topic. The reason why I decided to come out is because I feel like black men cannot do anything. If you cry, it's a problem as a straight man. If you do anything as a straight man, it's a problem. You cannot express your feelings, and it's a proven fact that women live longer than men. And not only do women live longer than men, but, you know, considering a healthy lifestyle, gay men live longer than straight men as well, because we are able to convey our feelings more. We're able to express ourselves more. We're able to cry more. We're able to do all these other things that, you know, straight black men typically can't do. And then y'all wonder why y'all uncles and granddaddies and, you know, all this stuff is dying from heart attacks at 40, 50, 60. Strokes at 40, 50, 60. Hypertension at 40, 60, 50. Because they have to bottle everything in. And with me, I don't want to bottle stuff in. Like, if I gotta come out as gay to just express myself, then that's what I'm gonna do, you know. And not saying that that's the reason I came out, but it was one of them things where, like, oh, me personally, it helped me to come out than harm me. But if it's a straight man that been straight his whole life, it's gonna harm him more to come out than it did me. And I feel like that's the reason why a lot of men don't come out, and that's the reason why I did come out. Because it's a battle being a black man in general. It's a struggle to be a black gay man, and it's a struggle to be a black straight man. Because at the end of the day, the battle is not a straight or gay thing. The battle is just being a black man and getting scrutinized for anything possible. Like, to be a black man in society is literally the bottom of the totem pole, if I'm being honest with myself. Next topic is, why do black men turn to other race women? The answer is simple and complex at the same time, right? It's because black women are too strong. And I don't mean that in a positive or negative way. And this is somebody that is an advocate for women, but especially an advocate for black women. Y'all are too strong. Y'all are too independent. Y'all convey that y'all don't need anybody. Which is not true. Everybody needs somebody. But y'all love to express how y'all don't need anybody. And a man, he needs to feel needed. I think when it comes to black men turning to other race women, it's because they want a sense of dominance in their house. And it's hard to dominate a black woman. You know, and it's not always the woman's fault, because I know a lot of women feel like, well, how can I be submissive to you if you're not even bringing home the bacon? Like, if you're a provider, and, you know, maybe I can submit to you, but if you're not a provider, then maybe I can't submit to you. But when it comes to other race women, they damn near provide for a black man and provide and submit to them at the same time. So it's just the honest truth that other race women, they are more submissive to men, and especially black men. Like, they wait on our men, in particular, hand and feet. And then their culture is not, they don't find anything being wrong with that. And then also, when it comes to other race women, men in general, but black men in particular, since that's what we're talking about, they are able to express themselves more. If a man want to be emotional within his household when dealing with another woman, she's gonna console him. She's gonna suggest therapy for him. She's gonna be like, "Baby, it's okay." She's gonna be like, "I'm gonna cook you dinner. I'm gonna cook you your favorite food." Like, when it comes to men being emotional in other ethnicity groups, it's okay. It's a thing. Like, if a man come home from work and, he's not having the best day and he seems to have some type of attitude, they gonna do whatever they can to, like, cater to him to make sure he's okay. But a black woman would be like, "What the fuck wrong with you? You got an attitude? What you got an attitude for?" Maybe because I've been in work all day and, my boss will treat me shitty. And it's hard, to be a black man and then going to a company and having a white man talk to you and belittle you, and you can't really do much about it. And one thing about it, when a black man can't do much about how another man respect or disrespect him, that's always going to be a lingering issue. Like, and not only that, but y'all don't know what it's like to go into the world as a black man. Like, y'all would never understand. Every day walking out of the house is a battle for a black man. Like, going into a store is a battle for a black man, because you never know when a motherfucker roll up on you. Driving your car, you never know, the odds that are stacked against you. God forbid somebody pull a racist cop pull you over because the smallest thing, and then you gotta pray. Like, y'all don't have no idea what it feel like to see the police headlights behind you as a black man. Like, that can always be your last moment as a black man. So yeah, I think it's because, like, other race women, they understand more, not only what men go through, but that black men got it hard. And I feel like black women, y'all are so deep into y'all own trauma, which y'all do have extensive trauma, that y'all forget, what a black man have to go through every day in the world. So I think that's why black men turn to other race women. And I'm not gonna lie, if I would have been straight, I don't think it would have been with a black woman. I probably would have got with another race woman. Because at the end of the day, gay or straight, I'm an emotional person, and I need my mental capacity and emotions to be validated. And black women just don't do that for men. Because newsflash, they don't even do it for their sons. Next question. Did you grow up in an environment of which you could express yourself properly? If so, what ways would that confirm without backlash of being grown? So this is a very short, simple answer. No, I was not. I did not grow up in an environment where I was able to express myself. Anytime I expressed myself or cried, just like most black men, I was told that I act like a little girl, I cry too much, stop being soft. So no, I did not grow up in an environment where I could express myself. They asked, in what ways was that confirmed without backlash of being grown? I didn't have to deal with that because I had to wait till I got grown, or at least in high school, to express myself. Other than that, it's you being a girl, you act like a girl, you cry too much, you too emotional. Yeah. So down to the last few questions. Touch bases on religious ideologies and how that affects your mental health. When it comes to religion and things like that, it really don't affect my mental health. Even, with the Bible telling me I'm going to hell, it don't really affect me. I'm a very, very, very spiritual being. I'm not really religious. I do believe in Jesus Christ, the black one, not the white one. But at the end of the day, the way I look at it, it's only one part in the Bible that says that God literally took lightning or whatever the case may be and wrote himself, and that's the Ten Commandments. So I do my best to follow those 10 commandments because those are the ones that came directly from God. Everything else I interpretate and, figure out how does God incorporate that into my life personally, because everything else is really man-made and man-written. So, religion don't really affect me a lot. Like, I got a super great relationship with God. And I know I'm not going to hell. And if I do, it ain't going to be for being gay. So, yeah, my perspective on religion is, I go to church in my heart. God is bigger than a religion, and God don't really associate with religion, if you ask me. Religion is the biggest separation and cult that we know of, and it caused the most bloodshed in history in general. And I don't think God will associate with anything that caused bloodshed amongst his people. And nothing has divided us and caused more war than anything besides religion. So yeah, that's my opinion on religion. I don't fuck with it. I'm not religious. I will never be religious again in my life. Yeah, I know God. I love Jesus. But at the end of the day, God moves through me, and I am a product of God. And I don't need to go to anybody's church or be a part of nobody's religion to connect with them. I am the product of what God embodies, and that is love for everybody around you. So, okay, so probably like 2 more questions. What advice would you give your younger self? First of all, to go to college and go away and get that experience. I didn't go to college because my senior year, like, both of my grandmothers had passed away, and it was hard for me to, like, move away from my mom and my dad, when they both had just lost their mothers. So I would tell my younger self to be more selfish, because at the end of the day, like, can't nobody else live for you, and you can't live for nobody else. So I would consider myself a lot more in a lot of situations. That's what I tell my younger self. Like, don't care about what people think. Of course, I always care about what people feel. But at the end of the day, like, you make more things about you. Because growing up, and even to this day, I make sure everybody else is good and everybody else... I'm sorry. I make sure everybody else is good and everybody else is okay around me. And then I make sure I'm okay. So I would tell my younger self to nip that in the bud right now, so I won't be struggling with it right now as a 27-year-old adult. So yeah, make more selfish choices. And I want to say that to everybody out here. Be more selfish. I don't care how that sounds. This is coming from somebody that is selfless. I give my all. I always have. Be more selfish. Selfish people live longer. Period. Okay, so last and final question. I say this for the last one because it's more of a personal question for me versus, black men and mental health or whatever the case may be. But this came from my friend Destiny. I love you, Destiny. It said, you and Eric would be great parents. How would you go about raising the child if that's y'all plan? And what parenting styles would you use of your parents? So yeah, I do believe we will be able to be great parents one day, but we want to do it when we absolutely ready, because a lot of people do it when they not, and then it fucks up a lot of things. Not only does it ruin their child life, it ruined the union that y'all could have had if y'all would have waited, and etc. So yeah. How we go about raising that child? I think it's hard to say. You know, I feel like you would have to be in that situation to know how you'll go about raising your child. But I do want to raise my child, bring them up on love and not survival. I was raised on survival, and it is not it's not a pleasant thing. That's all I'm gonna say. Did I have love for my parents? Absolutely. My parents was great providers. They wasn't really there emotionally as a child, but they was great providers. They make sure nothing happened to me, and I always lived in a comfortable situation. I always had everything I needed. So my parents was great providers, but for my child, I want to be more a safe haven than a provider for my kids. So when you say what parenting styles would you use of your parents, I can't really say that I have any besides being a great provider. But what I will say that I won't use of my parents is making sure that, you know, my child is able to express themselves and know that they are loved and know that. I'm trying to say this without I feel like I'm bashing my parents because I have great parents. But when it comes to like what parenting style that I would use that my parents used when I was growing up, I can't say that I have many besides, you know, like being a provider. I would say that I want to, you know, raise my child more on love than providing. And not to say I wasn't loved because I have great parents. And I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm speaking for my siblings. And I have 8 siblings. I have 5 biologically and 3 by marriage that been with me since I was like 2 or 4 or something like that. So they my brothers and sisters, right? So it's 8 of us. And all of us feel the same way. We feel like our parents was great providers. And, you know, we always had what we needed. But they really wasn't there for us when it came to like... I'm trying to say this in a way that don't bash our parents because we got great parents, but they just didn't know how to be there for us emotionally, like, and not that they didn't want to be, but they was too busy like providing or being in the streets or like dismissing our feelings and stuff like that. So I would say, like, I would want my child to be able to express themselves more and know that they are heard and know what they say is important because I feel like we didn't get that. And I feel like that when we finally, you know, found our voice and was able to translate what we was trying to say, it displayed as anger because we've been trying to express we wish we could have expressed ourselves for so long that when we finally do it, it's almost like, you know, we being grown. And so yeah, I remember getting in high school, like being a freshman in 8th grade and stuff like that, and starting to be able to be vocal, and people would think I'm being grown just because I express myself. So I would definitely want to make sure my child, you know, be able to express themselves. But I will say from like both of my personal parents, my mom and dad, because some of me and my siblings, we have a different mom or a different dad. What I would take personally from my mom is, you know, always doing, you know, whatever put me and my child in a better situation. Like my mom was great at that. Like anytime she felt like it was time for us to move around or we could have elevated or we could have progressed, then, you know, she has always done that. And from my dad, and this I'm speaking on my dad as I grew up, not as a child, but like once I hit a teenager or in high school and stuff like that, which is like them. Which if you don't get it right when they're a child, this is the time to get it right before they go into the real world. And my dad is great at making sure like, you know, making sure like you feel like you heard. Like I feel like if I can't tell nobody nothing, I can tell my dad something. And you always feel heard when you talking to my dad. That's one thing I love about my daddy. Like he always validates your feelings. Like he won't dismiss you or nothing like that. So yeah, I would definitely take that from my mom and take that from my dad. From both of them, you know, being a great friend to their child. Like once I'm grown or whatever, they can be a great friend. But I feel like even with that, it could be a hit or miss in certain places. Like, I feel like when my child get older, I would want to be, close enough for them to be their friend, but not to the point that I see them as not my child, if that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, y'all, so it's a wrap for this episode of Uncut Combos, Black Man Mental Health and More edition. I really hope this conversation be able to help, another man out there, or, a woman help to, like, understand the man in their relationship or men around them and things like that. I can't say that it will, but I hope that it do. And, the next time y'all see another episode of Uncut Combos, it will be more people, and everybody giving their opinion. But this one was something that was deeply rooted to me, and I knew that only I can convey what I really wanted to say without the interruption of other people to get across the things that I really need to say, being a black man and a black man dealing with mental health issues. So, if this could touch one people, not one people, ghetto ass. If this could touch one person, then my job is done with this episode of this podcast. With love, peace, and prosperity.